Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Podcast. I'm your host, Connor, and joining me today is my wonderful co-host, Linda. How are you doing today, Linda?
Hey, Connor, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. And I'm really excited about today's topic because it's something that can genuinely help people improve their lives. We're going to talk about setting goals for the future.
Yes, this is such a practical and useful topic. Goals are like a roadmap for your life. They give you direction and purpose. Without goals, you're just drifting along without a clear destination. But with good goals, you know where you're headed and how to get there.
Exactly. And I think many people want to set goals, but they're not quite sure how to do it effectively. Maybe they've tried before and failed, or maybe they just don't know where to start. That's what we're going to help with today.
So let's start with the basics. What exactly is a goal? A goal is something specific that you want to achieve in the future. It could be something big, like buying a house or starting a business. Or it could be something smaller, like reading one book per month or learning to cook a new recipe every week.
And goals can cover all different areas of your life. You might have career goals, health and fitness goals, relationship goals, financial goals, personal development goals, and so on. It's good to think about different aspects of your life when you're setting goals.
Absolutely. Now, one of the most popular frameworks for setting goals is called SMART goals. Have you heard of this, Linda? It's an acronym that helps you create better goals.
Yes, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let me break that down for our listeners. Specific means your goal should be clear and well-defined, not vague. Instead of saying, I want to get fit, you might say, I want to run a 5-kilometer race.
Great example. Measurable means you should be able to track your progress and know when you've achieved the goal. For the running example, you can measure whether you completed the 5-kilometer race or not. It's a clear yes or no.
Achievable means your goal should be realistic. It's great to dream big, but if you've never run before, setting a goal to run a marathon next month probably isn't achievable. You need to set goals that challenge you but are actually possible with effort.
Relevant means your goal should matter to you and align with your values and other life goals. There's no point setting a goal just because someone else thinks you should. It needs to be something you genuinely want for yourself.
And time-bound means you need to set a deadline. Instead of saying, someday I'll run that race, you say, I'll run a 5-kilometer race in 6 months. Having a deadline creates urgency and helps you stay motivated.
The SMART framework is really useful, but I think we should also talk about the difference between short-term goals and long-term goals. Short-term goals are things you want to achieve in the near future, maybe within a few weeks or months. Long-term goals are bigger things that might take years to accomplish.
That's a really important distinction. And here's the thing, your short-term goals should support your long-term goals. Let's say your long-term goal is to become fluent in Spanish. Your short-term goals might be things like complete one Spanish lesson every day or have a conversation with a native speaker once a week.
Exactly. The short-term goals are like the stepping stones that lead you toward your bigger long-term goal. It makes the big goal feel less overwhelming because you're breaking it down into smaller, manageable pieces.
Now, let's talk about why people often fail to achieve their goals. I think one big reason is that they set too many goals at once. They get all excited, usually around New Year's, and they make a huge list of everything they want to change. But then they feel overwhelmed and give up.
That's so true. It's better to focus on just a few important goals, or even just one goal, and really commit to it. Once you've achieved that goal or made it a habit, then you can add another one. Quality over quantity when it comes to goals.
Another reason people fail is that they don't make a concrete plan. Having a goal is great, but you also need to figure out the specific steps you'll take to achieve it. If your goal is to save money, you need a plan for how much you'll save each month and where that money will come from.
And you need to anticipate obstacles. What might get in the way of achieving your goal? If you know what challenges you might face, you can plan for them in advance. For example, if your goal is to exercise every morning, but you know you're not a morning person, maybe you need to set out your workout clothes the night before to make it easier.
That's such a practical tip. I also think it helps to track your progress. When you track your progress, you can see how far you've come, which is really motivating. It also helps you identify when things aren't working so you can adjust your approach.
There are so many ways to track progress. You could use a journal, a spreadsheet, an app on your phone, or even just a simple calendar where you mark off each day you work toward your goal. Find whatever method works for you.
Let's talk about motivation because staying motivated is one of the biggest challenges with goals. At the beginning, you're usually really excited and motivated, but after a few weeks or months, that initial excitement fades and it becomes harder to keep going.
This is where having a strong why becomes important. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What will it mean for your life? If you have a deep, personal reason for pursuing a goal, it's easier to stay motivated when things get tough.
For example, if your goal is to lose weight, your why might be that you want to have more energy to play with your kids, or you want to reduce your risk of health problems. That's more powerful than just wanting to look good, although that can be part of it too.
Another motivation strategy is to visualize success. Imagine yourself having already achieved your goal. How does it feel? What does your life look like? Visualization can be a powerful tool because your brain starts to believe that this future is possible and works toward making it real.
I also think it helps to celebrate small wins along the way. You don't have to wait until you've completely achieved your goal to feel good about your progress. If your goal is to write a book and you finish the first chapter, celebrate that. Acknowledging your progress keeps you motivated.
Now, let's talk about accountability. It's much easier to achieve your goals when you have someone holding you accountable. This could be a friend, family member, coach, or even an online community of people working towards similar goals.
When you tell someone about your goal and regularly update them on your progress, you're more likely to follow through. Nobody wants to admit they gave up or didn't do what they said they would do. That social pressure can be really helpful.
Some people even find it helpful to make their goals public, like posting about them on social media. That creates even more accountability because now lots of people know about your goal. But this doesn't work for everyone. Some people find that kind of public pressure stressful.
That's a good point. You need to know yourself and what motivates you. Some people are motivated by external accountability and rewards, while others are more motivated by internal satisfaction and personal growth. Neither is better, they're just different.
Let's discuss what to do when you face setbacks, because setbacks are inevitable. Maybe you skip a few days of working toward your goal, or you have a bad week where everything goes wrong. The important thing is not to give up completely.
Exactly. One bad day or one bad week doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're human. The key is to get back on track as quickly as possible. Don't use one setback as an excuse to quit entirely. Just start again the next day.
And sometimes you might need to adjust your goals. Maybe you realize that your timeline was too aggressive, or maybe your circumstances have changed. That's okay. It's better to adjust your goal and keep moving forward than to abandon it completely because it's not working.
Flexibility is important. Your goals should serve you, not stress you out. If a goal is making you miserable or it no longer aligns with what you want in life, it's perfectly fine to let it go and set a different goal.
Now, I want to talk about different types of goals people commonly set. Career goals are really popular. This might include things like getting a promotion, switching to a new career field, starting a business, or developing new professional skills.
Health and fitness goals are also very common. Things like losing weight, running a race, eating healthier, quitting smoking, or just being more active. These goals can really improve your quality of life.
Financial goals are important too. Maybe you want to save a certain amount of money, pay off debt, buy a house, or start investing. Financial goals give you more security and freedom in your life.
Education and learning goals are great. This could be learning a new language, getting a degree, taking online courses, reading more books, or developing a new skill or hobby. Learning keeps your mind active and opens up new opportunities.
And don't forget about relationship goals. This might include spending more quality time with family, making new friends, improving communication with your partner, or reconnecting with old friends. Relationships are a huge part of a happy life.
Personal development goals are also valuable. Things like practicing gratitude, meditating regularly, improving your confidence, overcoming a fear, or developing better habits. These goals help you become the person you want to be.
One mistake I see people make is only setting achievement goals. These are goals where you accomplish something specific, like run a marathon or earn a certain amount of money.
But it's also important to set habit goals or process goals.
Can you explain the difference, Connor? I think that's a really useful distinction for our listeners to understand.
Sure, an achievement goal is about reaching a specific outcome. A habit goal is about establishing a regular behavior. For example, instead of setting a goal to lose 10 kilograms, which is an achievement goal, you could set a goal to exercise 4 times per week, which is a habit goal.
I see. So the habit goal focuses on the process rather than the outcome. And the advantage is that you have more control over whether you do the behavior than whether you get the specific result. You can control whether you exercise, but weight loss depends on many factors.
Exactly. And often, if you focus on building good habits, the achievements naturally follow. If you consistently exercise and eat well, you'll probably lose weight. If you consistently practice a skill, you'll get better at it. The habits are what create the results.
That makes so much sense. Now, let's talk about goal setting for different time frames. We mentioned short-term and long-term goals, but let's get more specific. What does that actually look like in practice?
Good question. I like to think in terms of daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, and even 5 or 10-year goals. Your daily goals might be simple tasks that move you forward. Your weekly goals might be slightly bigger milestones. Monthly goals are larger chunks of progress.
And your yearly goals are the significant achievements you want to accomplish within 12 months. Then your 5 or 10-year goals are your big dreams and visions for your life. All of these timeframes should connect to each other.
Right. Your daily actions should support your weekly goals, which support your monthly goals, which support your yearly goals, which move you toward your long-term vision. It's all connected like a chain.
I want to mention something important. Sometimes people feel pressure to have really ambitious, impressive goals. But your goals don't have to impress anyone else. They just need to be meaningful to you. If your goal is simply to have more peace and balance in your life, that's completely valid.
That's such an important point, Linda. We live in a culture that often glorifies hustle and achievement and constantly doing more. But sometimes the best goal is to slow down, simplify your life, or just appreciate what you already have. Goals should enhance your life, not add stress.
Absolutely. And related to that, I think it's important to review your goals regularly. Maybe once a month or once a quarter, sit down and think about whether your goals still make sense. Are you making progress? Do you need to adjust anything? Are these still the right goals for you?
Regular review is crucial. Life changes, circumstances change, and you change as a person. Your goals should evolve too. What seemed important 6 months ago might not be a priority anymore, and that's okay.
Now, I want to share a technique that I find really helpful for long-term planning. It's called working backwards from your vision. You start by imagining your ideal life 5 or 10 years from now. What does it look like? Where are you living? What are you doing? Who are you with?
I love this technique. Once you have that vision, you work backwards. What would you need to accomplish in 3 years to be on track for that vision? What about in 1 year? What about in 6 months? This helps you figure out what steps to take now.
It makes long-term goals feel more achievable because you're breaking them down into smaller time frames. Instead of thinking, I need to do all these things in 10 years, you're thinking, what's the next logical step I can take right now?
Another helpful approach is to think about different life areas and make sure you're not neglecting any important area. You might have strong career goals, but no health goals, or vice versa. A balanced approach to goal setting considers your whole life.
Some people use what's called a life wheel or wheel of life for this. It's a circle divided into sections representing different life areas like career, health, relationships, finances, personal growth, fun and recreation, and so on. You rate your satisfaction in each area and set goals where you want to improve.
That's a great tool for getting a holistic view of your life and identifying where you want to focus your energy. It helps prevent you from achieving success in one area while completely neglecting other important parts of your life.
You know, we've talked a lot about setting and achieving goals, but I think we should also mention that it's okay if you don't achieve every goal you set. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, things don't work out. that doesn't make you a failure.
Absolutely. Failure is just feedback. It tells you what didn't work so you can try something different. Some of the most successful people in the world have failed many times before achieving their goals. The difference is they kept trying.
And sometimes what feels like failure is actually redirection. Maybe that goal wasn't right for you, or maybe the timing wasn't right. When one door closes, another often opens. Stay flexible and open to new possibilities.
I think we should wrap up with some practical action steps for our listeners. If you want to start setting better goals, what should you do? First, take some time for reflection. Think about what you really want in different areas of your life.
Then, choose 1 to 3 goals to focus on. Remember, don't overwhelm yourself with too many goals at once. Pick the ones that are most important to you right now.
Make sure your goals are SMART, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Write them down somewhere you'll see them regularly. There's something powerful about writing your goals down.
Create an action plan. What specific steps will you take? When will you take them? What obstacles might you face, and how will you handle them? The more detailed your plan, the better.
Find a way to track your progress and build in accountability, whether that's through an app, a journal, or telling a friend about your goals. And remember to celebrate your progress along the way.
And be patient with yourself. Change takes time. You're not going to transform your life overnight, and that's okay. What matters is that you're moving in the right direction, even if the progress feels slow sometimes.
Well, I think that's a great place to end today's episode. We've covered so much about goal setting, from the SMART framework to different types of goals, staying motivated, handling setbacks, and creating a balanced approach to planning your future.
I hope our listeners feel inspired and equipped to set some meaningful goals for themselves. Remember, your goals should excite you and reflect what you truly want in life. They're your roadmap to creating the future you desire.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe to Daily English Podcast. Subscribing helps us reach more English learners around the world, and it means you won't miss any of our future episodes.
Yes, please hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this episode helpful. We really appreciate your support. It makes a huge difference for our channel.
And if you have any goals you'd like to share, or if you have questions about goal setting, leave a comment below. We love hearing from you and learning about your English learning journey and your life goals.
Thanks so much for listening today, everyone. Now go out there and start planning for your amazing future. We'll be back tomorrow with another great topic.
Until next time, keep practicing your English and keep working towards your dreams. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. See you tomorrow.